Your father died protecting this city.
Freeze, Dad! Halt!
He taught you to follow your conscience in an often cruel world.
What happened?
Worst day in 18 years.
How many cops?
8.
Why were they here?
They responded to a robbery.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Officer down!
Automatic weapons. 2 shooters. They have training.
How old were you when your father's captain came? I asked for you for a reason.
I will find out.
We just killed cops. We need to run.
We gotta move fast. Cars not ours, plates are stolen.
If we don't catch these guys in the next 3 or 4 hours, they vanish. How you gonna do this? Close the island. There are 21 bridges in and out of Manhattan. Shut them down. 3 rivers, close them. 4 tunnels, block them. Stop every train and loop the subways. Then, we flood the island with blue.
Mask on, Scout. Get mask on.
None of this makes sense. The bid was for 30 keys. We walked into 300.
Mask on, Scout. Get mask on.
They'll have to open Manhattan by morning. 8 dead policemen is one thing, but the stock market losing billions of dollars is quite another.
This whole thing is filthy. You know how mean you gotta be to move 300 kilos of cocaine? Oh my God.
What is going on here?
I just need the truth, that's all.
They told me you were fearless. The guy who kills cop killers. Sees his dad and every cop who dies.
Nobody approach him. He's mine. Police, out of the way. Move.
They're not gonna escape this island.
You're the only cop tonight who speaks first and shoots second.
I will find out why the night happened.
Represent, yeah. Gotta represent.
All right.
Support your local scene.
Are we ready?
Yeah, this episode is brought to you by Iron Rooster, the official breakfast
This
spot.
episode brought to you by Blue Apron.
Yeah, I wish.
It's by Hello Fresh.
We need some of that. No, it's Freshly. That's what I use. So
it's brought to you by all of these things.
It's brought to you by House Party too.
MeUndies. It's brought to you by MeUndies. Get your official Movie the Podcast underwear. Wear what all of us are wearing.
Oh, I'm out.
Just pictures of Sean's face all over our genitals.
I ordered another pair of underpants that didn't have dick holes in them, and I'm really upset this is becoming like a trend.
That didn't?
Yeah, they don't have dick holes.
Were they men's underwear?
Yes. It's a style now. I ordered a pair of regular like Fruit of the Looms, and they didn't have fucking dick holes. And these are a different brand. They look like regular boxer briefs, but they
I don't even know how
fucking...
to. Do you just Google no dick hole underwear?
It's called like trunk style underpants. It's fucking annoying. Stop it. I need.
Well, there it is. Yeah.
Don't like that.
It's fucking obnoxious. Who wants to have to take down their pants and shit when they gotta pee?
Well, I mean, I like the option of the whole. I might still do the flop over, but I want the option.
You still do the flop over?
I might. What? It's my choice. I can do what I want. It's my penis.
That's fair.
Either going up the middle or doing an end around. It's whatever play I call at the line.
All right, just go.
Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. This is the last week of Chadwick Boseman.
Yes, sir.
And we watched. Was this Alex pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
21 Bridges. A movie featuring less bridges than you would think.
They only show like 5. But they do show them right at the beginning, so I started counting them. I was like, okay, there's 5 of them.
Yep. They could have gone 4 tunnels, but 21 bridges is better.
They really should have named this movie something different. That title felt like an afterthought after you watch the movie. It's like,
what are we going to call this?
Because really the like bridges part was like a big deal in the trailer, but like it really wasn't that big of a deal in the movie. Like
I think it's just conceptually
like half a scene.
The idea of shutting the place down. But anyway, that's what we watched. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yep. Sean's not here. Due Due to complications of sucking his dad's dick, I guess he got sick. He got sick off that dick.
Got scratchy throat because of all that.
The pubes. All the hairs on the shaft. He's got one of them hair. He's like a hobbit dick.
Oh
He's
my!
Got hairs all up around the sides.
Good lord!
Yeah, it's like a prickly pear.
Like sucking on a Brillo pad.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
Yeah. Old steel wool dick.
Just a wire brush between his legs.
What'd y'all watch this week, Alec?
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
A few things. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Few things.
At least 4 things.
There we go.
I feel like I watched something last night, but I can't remember what it was. I think never mind. I didn't watch a movie last night. I just watched some of my favorite Simpsons episodes.
I was watching The Simpsons today, all today actually, so I can relate.
Yeah, I was just skipping around. I watched Marge vs. the Monorail.
Great episode.
You only moved twice.
Fantastic.
That's a good one.
Lisa the Babysitter.
Which one's Lisa? Oh, that's the one. Oh, where Bart breaks his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, I think I just played whatever the next couple after that were. But like, season 8 is a murderer's row of amazing Simpsons episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just banger after bang. Because like I watched like 3 or no, I skipped ahead and what low key might be my favorite episode. It's not my favorite, but it's like top 3 is the I can't remember the name of the John Waters one. I can't remember the name of the episode.
Oh, that's a great episode.
That's so good with the gay panic. It's just it's so great. We watched the Simpsons movie this week. What is that? What is happening?
Oh, Van, he's just showing me his list of books he's read to
nice.
win a
Shouldn't
prize.
he be in bed? I thought we didn't start till 8:30 because he was in bed.
Yeah, go to bed.
Go to
good
bed.
Night, Uncle Alec, Uncle TJ.
Good night.
Good night, buddy.
We did question.
Now we got to edit all this out.
Dead air.
Yeah. Child Protective Services is coming after Gox for having his child on this horrific show.
Yeah, that's fine. If that's what they get me for.
We watched the Simpsons movie the other day, which is the last truly great thing the Simpsons has done. Some people say that some of the episodes now there's some good ones mixed in, but I don't think so.
I haven't watched the Simpsons.
You would know more than anybody here.
Yeah,
I watched them all.
I'm up to date on them. I watch the new ones every week as they come out, and nope. They're just not. They're not good. Like they're just not funny.
I went in,
and maybe.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It might just be the fact that I'm comparing them to Golden Age Simpsons, but they're just not. I don't find them funny. I don't know that I can separate the two.
I mean, from what I've seen, they're just written differently now. Like the style of the show is different than what it used to be.
Yeah, it definitely is. But we watched the movie, which is tremendous. That movie is so fucking good, and we watched it because we were joking the other day, Stacy and I, the other night, and I forget what we were talking about, but I was telling her about the Ralph intro with the 20th Century Fox, where it's like, da, 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 da.
Oh yeah.
And we were joking about that, and I played it for her, and then the other night, like I didn't know, like sometimes we'll talk about what to watch, sometimes one of us will just put something on.
Sure.
And like I was looking at my phone, and she hit play on the Simpsons movie. I didn't realize that's what it was, and I heard the 20th Century Fox thing, and then I just hear Ralph going, da, 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 da. I was like, yes. Oh, that movie's so goddamn good. Albert Brooks is so good in it. Everybody's so good in it.
I also
but we've talked about that a whole bunch.
There's something too about that movie where like I know as we get older and older and older, we keep talking about like our nostalgia, but like there was a certain specialness to when even before that movie came out, like it was like a renewed love. Like everybody loved The Simpsons again, and like there was all this cool like promotional shit. Like 7-Elevens turned into Quickie Marts, and you could get like branded like Flaming Moe's energy drinks and shit like that. Like I don't know, there was something like really special about that. And that small little moment in time. Also, I don't know about you guys, but like I was fully expecting the movie to be horrible, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of the old writers back. I think that's one of the reasons that movie is so good.
I mean, that's key. Like having all those old guys, like because that movie came out 13 years ago.
I know.
And like that was like season 18 or 19.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that was still 10 years removed or 8 years removed from all the good writers leaving.
Yeah.
But like I always forget that like Marge cusses in the movie at the end.
Yeah.
They're like riding around the thing. She's like, "Get rid of the goddamn bomb."
Yeah.
And every time it kills me. I'm always so shocked that she cusses. I don't know why I forget that.
And you get to see Bart's dick.
Yeah, his doodle.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that movie I have it sitting around here. I saw it in the theater, and I bought it. I probably watched it twice. But I probably haven't watched it in the last, 8 years. I should revisit it.
It's on Disney+.
You should. It's so good.
I remember walking out, and I to TJ's point, I remember walking into it going kind of hopeful,
yeah.
I don't know how they're going to pull this off. Maybe this is set up to fail. And when I remember walking out,
I think we all saw it together, and
I walked out this was great.
We left euphoric afterwards,
yeah. It was
rekindled interest in the Simpsons. I remember watching the next season premiere with TJ.
Yeah,
we're
it was
excited
terrible.
to see what they did with it. And it was awful. It was
You and I both were like, well, the movie was good. Maybe the show will get good again. Nope,
it did not.
And that was 12 years ago, and it's still the show is still on.
Yep, they had episode 700 the other day.
Jesus Christ!
My goodness, is it the longest running show in history? I guess it hasn't been.
No,
I don't know because
in America, yes.
It passed Gunsmoke, but some of those soap operas were on since the 60s.
Well,
and they were on until the mid 2000s. I don't know that. I guess sitcom wise, probably.
There's Japanese anime shows that have over 2,000 episodes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean Doctor Who had 25 years before they stopped it and brought it back again.
Yeah.
The longest
isn't Doctor Who the longest running, but they don't have as many episodes because there's breaks. Doctor Who's been around since the 60s.
But the original one was from the 60s to the 80s, and then it paused for a while, then it came back and went away again.
It looks like they're not counting. So I just Googled it real quick. It is the number one of the longest running scripted American primetime. So they're not counting all those the soap operas and whatever.
Days of Our Lives and Guiding Light and all that stuff. That stuff was on for 30
forever.
years.
Yeah.
It's got
40 years.
It's head and shoulders beyond. The second one is, oddly enough, it's Law and Order Special Victims Unit, which is on its 22nd season, but the Simpsons are on their 32nd season.
Yeah, it's the next guy, Cal Ripken, is well behind the Iron Man.
Yeah.
I forget who it is, but I think wasn't it Derek Jeter for a little while, but even he was 1,000 games behind. It was
every time they show the active streak, it's 1,500 games behind Cal Ripken's streak.
Yeah.
Family Guy's about to go 20 seasons. I'll just leave it at that. I'm shocked.
South Park is at 20 seasons. I think they're if they're not at 20, they're very close. It's weird how long these shows have been going on. I mean,
South Park's not on this list because they're only doing this is a very specific list. Only aired on major broadcast networks.
Well, South Park is pretty long.
Well, yeah, because the broadcast networks are all very snooty about cable shows and stuff like that.
Because you got to figure that South Park's been around before Family Guy, and South Park never took any breaks. Family Guy had that 5-6 year break where they didn't make any shows.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else did you watch, Al?
I watched an anime called Silent Voice, which was it was absolutely terrible. It starts off in it's Japanese, obviously. It starts off in their primary school, grade school, and this kid bullies a deaf girl to the point that she has to leave the school. Then it fast forwards to they're in high school, and he's like become like a recluse. It like eats away at him, and he tries to find her to make amends. And just like it has all these other characters. Some are bullies, some are like friendly, but the whole thing is just it's all the names are very similar. It's hard to track, even with subtitles and English dubs. Even with everything, it's hard to track who is who.
It was not.
What
for you.
inspired watching this? Because that doesn't seem like what would be typically in your wheelhouse.
Nope. One of Stacy's students recommended a couple of animes, and we chose this one because it was a movie. The other ones were all TV shows. I can't remember the names of the other ones.
So, Alec brought this up while we were having brunch, and I've recommended that you guys should watch Studio Ghibli movies. I forgot they're all on the Plex server. I put them all on there before HBO.
Oh, cool.
I got HBO Go. So, yeah, check some of those out. I think you'll like those. Those are like
I've heard good things about those from just like normal movie watchers.
Yeah, that's kind of they're like gateway anime. Like
I heard
they're
they're
not
beautiful. Like they're just really.
You haven't watched any of them either, Gogs?
No, but I heard I'll check them out.
Yeah, they're good.
It's like,
I've heard they're great, and then there's like there's an Irish or Scottish animation studio that's on fire right now.
Oh yeah, they
made that Wolfwalkers movie.
It's on Apple,
and like
Apple
supposedly
there's a movie they just put out. I know.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be awesome. I haven't seen it.
And supposedly their animation is outstanding as well. Watched True Lies, the best Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, hands down.
No. I mean,
what
it's
a week
great
for Sean to be off. He can't argue with us.
It's a great movie.
No argument.
It's not Arnold Schwarzenegger's best movie. I mean, that's just no.
What do you think his best movie is?
His best movie is.
You're going to say Terminator or Predator?
No, I'm going to say Total Recall is his best movie.
Bold.
Yeah. I think he's really good in Total Recall.
I think he's.
I don't know, man.
I think he's really good in True Lies.
It's funny because, like, you think about Arnold.
Such a wide range in True Lies. Like,
yeah, that's
he's
fair.
Funny.
I mean, I like True Lies a lot. I think True Lies is a great movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen all James Cameron's movies. It was probably my favorite James Cameron movie too. Definitely my favorite Tom Arnold movie.
I feel like I have seen all of James Cameron's movies.
Aliens is my favorite James Cameron movie.
No shit. You had no idea.
But yeah, man,
it's frustrating because, like, why can't James Cameron make movies like that anymore?
Now he's just stuck on making 1,000 avatars.
God, I wish.
And re-releasing them in China just to beat Endgame again.
Yeah.
They're just going to be going back. They're just going to be going back and forth forever, like re-releasing those two movies for.
I forgot he did
every
that.
couple of years. He just did it. It was just like a few weeks ago.
I remember. Yeah, it just happened.
But man, True Lies is just outstanding. Arnold's great. Tom Arnold is great.
Is Tom Arnold's best movie by
he's so
a country mile?
He's so
what about that DMX movie we watched?
Yep. Yep.
Including that.
What's funny is that's Tom Arnold's second best movie.
But man, he's great in this movie. And like, you can see where he could be great in a lot of things if he could get that shtick down right. But I guess he just couldn't. I don't know. The terrorist, like the main terrorist is great. Tia Carrera is great. Jamie Lee Curtis is outstanding in this movie. Yeah, the action scenes are phenomenal. The dude drives a dirt bike off the roof of a hotel into a pool on the roof of another hotel, and then Arnold tries to chase him with a police horse.
Arnold yelling at the horse afterwards is my favorite.
What about the scene with the fucking Harrier jet in the that shit is rad. Like, there's a lot of great.
When Arnold gets in it and he's like, "You're gonna have to sign for this, sir." He's like, "I'll sign for it."
Yeah.
And he's like taking off and he's like getting his sea legs back. He's like hitting cop cars and stuff, and he just kind of looks at the camera and just like, eh.
Tom Arnold's like, "Oh, it's like riding a bike. He'll be fine. Don't worry about it. He'll come back."
Yeah, that movie's great. I could watch that movie like over and over. It's so fucking good.
Like the Bill Paxton side plot is hilarious. Like,
yeah,
I didn't even bring that up, and that's tremendous. They get him. They're holding him over like the edge of a dam. And he's like, "Oh God, I got a tiny
dick." I remember that.
I'm not a terrorist. I'm a used car salesman. I don't get any pussy. Oh, would a terrorist piss himself? I just peed my pants.
He's so good at it.
Oh, it's so good.
Like the scene where Arnold's explaining how he's gonna kill everyone in that room.
Oh yeah.
So like after he's got the truth serum, like first of all, the conversation with him and Jamie Lee Curtis, where she's like, "Are we gonna die?" I was like, "Yep." Like he's just like being super honest with her, and then they're like, and then he explains how he's gonna kill everybody. It's like, "How are you gonna do that?" It's like, while you were talking, those handcuffs, I picked them, and they just kills everybody. It's awesome.
Exactly how he said he was going to.
Oh God, I love that movie. That movie has a nuclear warhead going off. Like that movie's got everything.
Yeah, they blow up an island in the Florida Keys.
Yeah.
Do you guys
remember? They almost
blow
up Miami.
Do you guys remember the fucking Super Nintendo game that came out?
That was good. That game was good. That game was legitimately fun.
It actually wasn't bad. One of the better movie tie-in games.
I never played that. I don't know that I think I had a Super Nintendo, but I got it way late in the game, right at the tail end. Then I had I had an N64. I don't think I ever had a Super Nintendo.
Oh, I had tons of I had Super Nintendos for days, son. Anything else, Alan?
Yeah, the last movie I watched was a movie called The Banker, and I think we watched it on Apple TV, but I'm not sure if it was an exclusive or somewhere else. It stars Anthony Mackie, Samuel L. Jackson, and Nicholas Hoult.
Okay. I like all of those guys.
Yeah.
It was really good. I liked it a lot. It's set in I think in the 60s. Maybe the 50s, maybe the 60s. Anthony Mackie is kind of like a savant with numbers, so he gets into real estate, and him and Cole Meany are going to business together, buying out properties. Anthony Mackie's the brains behind it. Cole Meany is the face that closes the deals because Anthony Mackie can't because he's black. Cole Meany dies, so all his properties start defaulting back to white owners because they won't allow him to own these buildings anymore. So him and Samuel L. Jackson get this idea. They basically take Nicholas Hoult, groom him, teach him all the math, how to memorize the numbers, and they teach him basically it's like a what's the movie with Eliza Doolittle? My Fair Lady. They're they charm school him up so he can fit into high society. And they send Nicholas Hoult in to close all these deals, and they're buying property everywhere. And eventually they start buying banks so they can make loans to other African Americans so they can start their own businesses and have their own lines of credit because no banks will give black people credit in the 60s.
Was this based on a true story or something?
It is based on a true story, and it is excellent. I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Sounds good.
Everybody's good in it. Anthony Mackie is just outstanding.
He's
such a good actor.
Yeah, I watched the second episode of Winter Soldier Falcon today. He was good in that.
Yeah.
Baltimore police tried to arrest Falcon. Gotta love it.
Oh my!
And then they begrudgingly arrested the Winter Soldier instead.
Yeah.
The Banker. You guys should check it out. It's really good, and it's also really infuriating.
Yeah.
Seeing the shit that people had to go through. I mean, not that they don't still
go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know when it came out, Alec?
I think it just came out either this year or last year. But it's great, and everybody's really good in it.
I'll check it out.
That was it. Aside from, I'm going to talk about a TV show for a second. The Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
I heard that's pretty good. They made the Mighty Ducks the bad guys, right?
Yeah, the first episode's pretty good. I talked about it with TJ a little bit yesterday morning. It's basically they're Cobra Kai-ing the Mighty Ducks. It's in the first episode's way better than I ever expected it to be, and I can't wait for the second one to come out.
All right,
but it's I would check it out, and it has Gordon Bombay in it.
Oh,
Well, I mean, what else
Hey, I'm
is he
Gordon
doing?
Bombay.
You know?
Not you. Hey, I'm Gordon Bombay. Not you.
Not you.
Put this whole town in my rear view.
My review.
Banker came out last year, 2020.
I'll check it out.
And it is in the 60s. You should. Oh, and it has Nia Long in it, and she looks great.
Ooh, good shit. Anything else, Al?
No, that is all.
And you pass the mic to
Gogs.
I watched two things. One of which I'll
tabled.
Yep.
Yes.
So, the thing I did watch that no one, I don't know. Did anyone else watch the last Blockbuster? I finally watched it last night.
Sean watched it because I saw him post about it, but I haven't watched it.
It's not bad. It's weird. Like, I normally like those kind of documentaries, but it's like, they're following this Blockbuster that's in Bend, Oregon, over the course of like a couple of years.
Yeah, that Blockbuster became like a meme for a little while that it still existed.
Yeah, I think it still does exist. It was like I think they started shooting in 2017, and in 2017 there was like 17 Blockbusters left, and then by 2018 there was 4, and then by 2019 there was just this one. There was the 3 in Alaska, and then this one in Bend, Oregon, and now this is like the last one. It sort of follows the main character is kind of the manager of the Blockbuster, this woman who's her whole family's worked there and yada yada. And it sort of talks about the rise and downfall of Blockbuster, which I thought would be more entertaining, but it wasn't. And sort of like
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
And sort of like the rise, and I guess the rise and fall of the whole rental market video industry, and like how Blockbuster kind of cornered it all, and then where Blockbuster there's a more interesting movie about how Blockbuster mismanaged themselves into failure. That's only touched on fairly lightly. Like there's like maybe 20 minutes of it that kind of goes into that. I think that's a much more interesting story.
Yeah. Did they talk at all about how the guy that owns Netflix went to Blockbuster first?
They did, and they explained it with puppets, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's one of those like historical boners. Like basically like the Netflix guy was like went to Blockbuster, threw out his idea, and they're like, nah, it's never gonna work.
Well, he wanted to team up with them.
Yeah.
And they apparently they laughed him out of the room. and I
don't know if you remember. Do you remember back like this is like second or third gen smartphones? There used to be a Blockbuster streaming app that like no one used.
So
they tried to launch.
Why would you?
Well, they kind of go into it though, which is interesting. And also the movie's just peppered with like B-listers, like just talk like Paul Scheer and the guy who did Super High Me and Ron Funches, who I love Ron Funches, but like the list of people they have to interview that are like celebrities are it's weird. Celebrities. But they go into that and they talk about how when Netflix was just starting and when Blockbuster realized they screwed the pooch, and then Blockbuster was like, okay, we got to fix this. And I guess it was Carl Icahn showed up and like he fired the whole management team. He hired new management. They shook it up, and Blockbuster is actually really well positioned to compete with Netflix. They were like, they laid it all out. Like even the online service, all that could have beat Netflix into the ground. The problem was that Viacom and Les Moonves, I think it's Les Moonves, Viacom had bought Blockbuster years prior, had leveraged all the assets of Blockbuster against like bad Viacom debt. So when 2008 happened, Netflix had cash and Blockbuster didn't. Blockbuster was like just like dead in the water. It had no money, and then that did it. That did them in. If Blockbuster hadn't been leveraged so bad by Viacom, then Blockbuster might have beat out Netflix.
And instead they put their money in trying to compete with Redbox, and that failed after like less than a year.
Yeah, and what was really funny was they talked about. Remember, I forgot about this ad until I saw it. I guess I like this documentary more than I thought. Check it out. They're talking about that. Remember back when they had that ad where everyone was marching, going, "No more late fees, no more late fees." No. And like the commercial was like the Blockbuster employees unfurling the banner that said "No more late fees."
I don't remember that.
I do not remember that.
I remember that. I remember the ad because they showed it. I was like, yeah, I remember this. I remember when Blockbuster did this, like as in their death throes. So at some point, Blockbuster said no more late fees, and they were talking to like the former CEO of Blockbuster, the former whatever. He's like, yeah, revenue got cut to a third. They're like, you mean cut by a third? He goes, no, cut to a third.
Jeez.
They had like who? What's the motivation to ever return a movie?
Yeah.
Like people were pissed off. People would show up on a Saturday night to rent a movie. And it's like, what do you mean it's not here? It's like, well, it's supposed to be here, but they didn't return it. And they're not getting it. It's just like between not renting it and then not getting the money for the late fees, which I guess is like how a lot of like municipalities plan their budgets around speeding cameras. Like they just, they went, that was it. They would just manage to shit.
I will say there's a part of me, and it's probably me being a fucking old man, whatever we are, where I guess we're technically late-end millennials, or I don't know what.
We're zennials.
Zennials?
We're like the very first year of millennials.
Yeah. Well, I genuinely miss going to a video store. I really do. They
brought that up. I liked walking around it and going.
I mean, I miss going to Blockbuster. I miss that. I don't know if either one of you guys ever got a chance to go there, but there is a place in Halethorpe near the Walmart there that was called like Movie Stop or something, and they were just like all they sold was used Blu-rays and like just search. Oh, that place fucking ruled.
When they went out of business, all of us got stuff there.
I loved that place. Just the idea to like search through stuff. And I know like, obviously nowadays, we can, Christ, we make a joke of it. Like I can find, me personally, I can find any movie I want to see in like 15 seconds usually. It doesn't matter. But like, the idea of like sifting through things is exciting to me, and like it was fun. It was like I don't know. There's something about it I miss, and I can't put my finger on what that is.
They touched on that in the movie, which is okay. So now I officially like this documentary because as I reflect on it, but they touch on that because they're like there was something about everything's streaming, not everything, but so much streaming, so much digital, right? Like not
almost everything is streaming. I mean, right,
but not dealing with like actual hard media, right? Like they were like, there's something communal and interesting about going to a video store and interacting either with the people you're with or interacting with the employees or interacting with other folks and just talking about movies and kind of having a joint like in-person experience and like
even though when I went to the video store, I would literally I'd never talk to anyone.
Yeah, but
and now that I think about it, mostly like what I miss is like the mom and pop video stores because the Blockbusters always sucked because they didn't carry anything that was like weird or like foreign.
Oh, dude, actually, you should watch this because there's about 2.5 minutes of Lloyd Kaufman shitting on Blockbuster. And like this last Blockbuster in Oregon, it's interesting because like so back in the day I lost a videotape not to Blockbuster, to our local movie place, and I thought it got returned. It didn't get returned.
It's like $95.
They were going to charge me. They called me, and I was like 16. They called me and said it'd be $600 because back in the day, I guess the studios used to charge the video rental stores $75 to $100, and I guess they were trying to figure out how much that was worth. Whatever. I think my dad settled the whole thing for under $100, but like I forgot that was a thing. Like you couldn't buy like release day, you couldn't get stuff. And now this last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, on new release day, God bless her, the manager, she goes to Target. She buys all the new release Blu-rays so that they have a stockpile of them.
That's awesome.
The
thing is, if you remember, and this is like, God, we've turned into Old Man the podcast, but like when we were kids, there was a boom in the home video market. Mm-hmm. And it was because previous to that, like the only way you could get movies was through Errol's and the old video stores. Like even previous, I think Blockbuster was around way sooner, way before that, but we didn't get them until later. Mm-hmm. But like that's why like video rental prices were like insane. Like if you lose this, like the videotape's like $500 because they spent like crazy money to get these tapes because you couldn't buy. There wasn't a market. There wasn't a home market to buy this shit. It's crazy.
No, it's bonkers. But it was check it out. Actually, it's pretty. I guess it was pretty interesting. And I know Kevin Smith's in it, and people are like, whatever.
That's such a turn off seeing him on like the opening, the whatever you call it, the link for
the
it.
promo. He's only mild. I'd say he's mildly insufferable in this.
Didn't he legit buy the Quick Stop video though?
He bought RTS, I think.
That's what the where they filmed Clerks, right?
Yeah,
that's
RTS and Quick Stop. Yeah,
he bought that whole spot. Yeah.
But yeah, check it out. And then the other thing I watched, me and TJ both watched. I guess TJ, did you watch anything else?
Yeah, I watched one other thing, but I'll talk about it briefly because I know you two could give two shits about it. I watched Nicholas Winding Refn's The Neon Demon again. I haven't watched it.
I still need to watch that.
Since it came out. I think you might like it.
That's the one about the model, right?
Yeah, it's like a horror movie. I mean, it's like a weird kind of vampire movie. But there's just, I don't know, man. It's like I kind of equate Nicholas Winding Refn, at least late stage Nicholas Winding Refn, to like Chuck Palahniuk. Like they both get similar complaints of like, well, they're all style and no substance, but it's like, and like they kind of make the same movie over and over again. But I like that movie. Like, I like what Nicholas Winding Refn does. Like, there's so many cool just shots in this movie, and I love the music, and I love how he composes a scene. Like, it's got that, like, this to me, like, he wrote and directed this, and I think this to me is his most, like, I hate the term, but I'm going to use it anyway. This is his most, like, Lynchian movie because the dialogue is, like, very stilted. And, like, people criticize that, but it's kind of like how I feel about Yorgos Lanthimos movies and David Lynch movies. Like, if you can tell it's intentional and it's part of the piece, like, it works. Like, it's bad dialogue in a movie is one thing, but, like, when everyone's kind of talking in that tone, you're like, oh, well, this is what he's going for. Like, I don't know. I love it. I think it's a great movie. It's like, I think it's just under 2 hours and it like flies by. Like it's over before you know it. It's definitely something to watch. Like I watched it. I watched it in a very dark, very loud room, and it was like very, I don't know. It's one of those movies where his movies can be very hypnotic, and like I don't know. There's just certain sequences in the movie I just think are fantastic. But I love that movie. I think it's great. Is it the deepest thing in the world? No, but it's a lot of fun. But then I also watched London Boulevard with Gogs. Gogs, you want to tell the people about our? It actually ties into. This is probably why I watched Neon Demon, because it ties into Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah. So TJ and I were hanging out. We're like, let's watch a movie. Oh, let's watch. I haven't watched Drive in a while. Let's watch Drive. We love Drive. So yeah. we popped the Drive.
We were feeling kind of nice.
We were in our cups a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
we pop in the Blu-ray to watch Drive, and it's an old Blu-ray, so it had trailers in the beginning. And I forget what the first trailer. Oh, the first trailer was just a trailer for movies. It was because I guess like.
Was it one of those studio trailers?
Yeah, no, it was like a Blu-ray trailer. It was like Drive. I guess Drive was an early Blu-ray. It's like, Alec, check out all of these Blu-rays.
Alec, it was so insane. It was like Gogs is right. It was a trailer for like the concept of movies, because it was like every kind of movie. It was like, like a modern movie with like Zach Braff, and then like Stanley Kubrick, then some art film, then Starship Troopers, and then at the end they and also this trailer, we didn't clock it again. We were feeling kind of nice. I felt like this trailer for films lasted for about 10 minutes, and then at the end of it they showed just this murderer's row of credits of like, hey, did you like this one scene? Because
we showed you clips of the following movies. These are all on Blu-ray. Here's their ratings.
It's like, do you like Starship Troopers and Chinatown? Here you go. I mean, I do actually.
Yes, and maybe.
I like both of those.
I like both those movies. But yeah, it was just like, it was one of those, like, I guess before Blu-ray became the dominant media, this was like one of those ones like, here's all the things you can see on Blu-ray.
It was very weird to be to remember what shit was like in 2006.
Right.
It's like,
I'm not gonna lie. I remember those things, and I used to love those trailers.
Oh my god! I was like,
they just had a bunch of awesome clips from awesome movies. Like, give me more of that.
So then after the commercial for movies.
Yeah, after the commercial for movies, there was a commercial for. I don't think there was another trailer, and then I think the next trailer was for London Boulevard, starring Colin Farrell. Yeah, and we're watching this trailer, going, okay, maybe, and neither of us had seen it. So I'm like, well, let's go see if we can go find this son of a bitch. And so we quit out of watching that Blu-ray, went to Amazon. It was like $3 to rent it. And we watched it, and it opened strong. It was like kind of like a Guy Ritchie-esque British gangster movie. And then it just fell to pieces. It became this incongruous mess of scenes and ideas.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. It's like, hey, we need more subplots. Like, we don't have a main plot to go off. Like, really...
No, they did have a main plot. That was the problem. You nailed it. TJ called it. He's like, was this based on a book? And I Googled it. I was like, yep, apparently it was.
Yeah,
and they tried to get every little bit of the book into it.
It was such a frustrating movie because, like, the cast is really good.
Yes.
Like, what's his name?
Ray Winstone's in it.
Ray Winstone's great. No, but who was the guy?
David Thewlis.
David Thewlis. David Thewlis was fantastic. He plays like this, like, I don't know, like consigliere of Keira Knightley. Like this kind, not consigliere, more like a bodyguard / like personal assistant, I guess would be the best way to describe him.
He's like he's
like a fixer, actually, I guess would be the, because he gets her drugs, but he also like takes care of problems. So he's more like a fixer. But he's great. I want the David Thewlis movie because, like, every scene he's in is so good.
He's very good.
Like, there's
Colin Farrell's really good in it.
Colin Farrell's great. There's so many scenes of this movie that are, like, really cool, and then they, like, cut to, like, the weird, forced Keira Knightley, Colin Farrell, like, love not triangle, but love aspect of the story. And it's
Keira Knightley, who is not the greatest actress, was good in it. Her scenes were just completely... They were juxtaposed against, like...
Yeah, well,
it was just a mess.
Her character was so undercooked, and their relationship, like, didn't feel earned at all. And
nothing about this movie was
also,
earned.
Like, one of the things that bothered me is that, on a production level, is that, so she's supposed to be this, like, very famous actress in this movie, and every time Colin Farrell sees a picture of her in the world, it's the same picture, and it's like, you couldn't have her take 2 fucking pictures. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, if I see, I don't know, Lady Gaga out in the world, right? Like, I'm going to
always in that meat suit.
Right? I'm going to see different pictures of Lady Gaga. I believe today is her birthday. That's why I thought about that.
Oh, shout out to Lady Gaga.
Shout out to Patreon of ours, Lady Gaga.
Shout out to Stephanie Germanata.
Is that her real name?
Yeah, I was trying to think of her last name real quick, but I couldn't.
But yeah, this movie suffers from too many plots. You've got the Colin Farrell revenging his homeless friend plot.
Which goes fucking nowhere and then, like, ends the movie. And it's like, what?
You have Colin Farrell's sister / nightmare's doctor plot.
Oh, pause real quick.
Yeah.
His sister in this movie is so fucking hot, like, and she's like always in outfits that are like her ass is falling out. It's fantastic. Like,
you got the Ray Winstone trying to recruit Colin Farrell plot. You've got the Ray Winstone. You got Colin Farrell's boy who works for Ray Winstone fucking shit up plot. Then you've got the love interest plot. Then you've got whatever David Thewlis is doing, and then you've got all the stuff with the paparazzi. Like, you've got, like, 7 plots. And it's just a mess. And the problem is it starts pretty good. It starts like, okay, this ain't bad. And then it just, like, it tries, like, I was so impressed that TJ picked up on the novel thing, because I think what they did was they were like, okay, well, that happened in the novel and it happened in this order, so now we're going to do it. And it was completely unnecessary. They could have just streamlined that shit.
It was like, we looked up like we always do. We looked up the guy that wrote and directed this, and he had done like nothing else. And then after watching this movie, you're like, oh, that's why. Like, he sucks. Like, it was just like, you had all these great pieces in place, and you just made this trash movie. This is another movie that, like, I think the runtime was like 100 and what was it like? It was an hour and like 43 minutes or something.
Yeah, 103 minutes.
No, I corrected myself. Thank you very much. But it felt like 2.5 hours. Like it was so long.
Well, the parts that were good were great, and the parts that weren't just dragged.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's all I watched. So
there we go.
All right, let's get into our feature presentation.
Bum bum bum.
21 Bridges. Alec, what happened?
We
open up on a funeral. Young baby Chadwick Boseman's dad is a cop who got killed. Chadwick Boseman then becomes a cop who pledges that he's going to go after cop killers all the time. He's going to get cop killers.
Yeah,
we see
like
him
Ice-T.
getting interviewed by Internal Affairs because they think he's killing too many cop killers.
Yeah.
He has like 8 kills to his record, and he says they were all good. I was cleared on all of them. And they said, well, doesn't it affect you mentally that you kill these cop killers? And he's like, no. I do what I do.
Yeah, basically. Then he makes some weird Civil War and Vietnam analogy, which is kind of forced. It's also
there's a lot of dialogue in this movie that is forced and weird.
Well, it's funny because Alec, again, in this infamous brunch we've been talking about, Alec warned me that the dialogue in this movie was really stupid. And, like, as soon as that line came out, I was like, oh, no. And then it just got worse. Like, it snowballed. There's so many cringy lines of dialogue in this movie. Like,
Sienna Miller is terrible in this movie.
Also, Sienna Miller can't decide if she's from New York or Boston with her accent half the time. Yeah, we'll get into it in more detail, in more granular detail later. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your plot synopsis. Your GOG synopsis, if you will.
And interrupt me if I miss anything, but I don't think there's really not a ton. This movie kind of moves.
It does, actually, yeah.
There's not a ton that happens. It's got, like, no fat to it at all. Cut to it looks like, I guess, a wine store? A wine store, like a sommelier store or something.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like a restaurant and I think it's a restaurant with, like, a healthy liquor store.
And Taylor Kitsch and I can't remember the other actor's name. I've seen him in other stuff. He's a good actor. He really needs to get more roles. He was phenomenal in this.
I thought he was great.
I don't think he didn't have any stupid dialogue.
I thought Taylor Kitsch was good in this.
I did not care for Taylor Kitsch in this movie.
His accent I couldn't deal with his accent.
Also, like
him and this other kid, they said that these two kids grew up together from the same neighborhood, but Taylor Kitsch has this stupid, overdone New York accent, and the other kid doesn't at all.
Well, also,
but they went through life literally like together.
And we'll get into it in a second. But like Taylor Kitsch ends up being like murder happy, and like that doesn't really pan out. Besides the first scene, it's like I don't know.
The other guy's name's Steph. It's either Stephen or Stephen James.
The movie is very inconsistent. Often, I will put it that way. I felt like characterization was like all over the place.
So we're at the sommelier store, and they are Taylor Kitsch and Stephen James go there because they were sent by a rival drug dealer to whoever owns this place to steal their cocaine. And they say they have 30 kilos in the basement. They get down there. They don't have 30 kilos. They have 300 kilos of pure, uncut coke.
Yeah.
Which is
nose
absurd.
clams.
The guy, Stephen James, tested. He's like, this is uncut. This is like tens of millions of dollars worth of coke. They steal what they can. And the cops show up just as they're about to leave, even though they weren't called. Keep that in mind for later. Taylor Kitsch just starts blowing away cops right off the bat. There's no like negotiation.
Oh no. Yeah.
No like, and I was like, oh my god, like this is right into it.
And he's like
these silenced assault weapons that are just like poof, 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 poof.
Yeah.
And he is just blowing everybody away.
This movie opens like the end of Heat.
And he's like double tapping guys. Like there's a moment where he like shoots this cop and he's obviously down, and he just fucking done it. Like he just goes up and just takes him out.
They go to leave, and more cops show up for backup. They kill all those cops too. In the process, destroying their Audi or Mercedes or whatever they had as their getaway car. Yeah, they realized they were kind of set up. Their guy who set them up with this job, they confront him, and he takes them to the drug dealer who wanted them to steal the coke. Meanwhile, Chadwick Boseman, I can't remember his character's name, but Chadwick Boseman is dealing with... He gets called to the scene of the crime because he's the lead homicide investigator or something. And also, he investigates cop murders. He gets in there, and J.K. Simmons is there. Always nice to see Just Kidding Simmons.
He's good in this movie too. I thought he was good.
He's good in it, but again, his the accents in this all just, I don't know, none of them worked for me.
Yeah.
The only performance that really did work was Chadwick Boseman, probably because he didn't try to do an accent. He does. I'm just going to talk normally.
He does I felt like he was doing a Denzel.
Did a little Denzel
impression, like there are a lot of the movie. Also,
maybe that's more cadence than accent, though.
Also, like in the beginning of this movie, not so much the rest of it, because again, you don't know what order they filmed this movie, but like there's a scene in the very beginning when he goes to his house. And he looks like really, really thin. And I got really depressed. I was like, that's sad.
Oh, it might have been a pickup shot from later on.
It's like right when he goes, we haven't seen that. The scene hasn't happened. I don't think the scene happened yet in the movie in our timeline. But like he goes when he sees his mom and he's in his suit and like his suit is like hanging off of him. And I'm like,
yeah, I just skipped over that. That was before where we are now.
I mean, this whole month has been rough because, like he's such a talented actor and to lose him so young. But like, you got to figure, knowing what you know now, like you got to figure like he was dealing with shit probably during the production. Well, they said he was dealing with it all through
Black Panther
of all the Marvel movies. But like, you got to figure he was really, really dealing with it in this, and like, I don't know, like that. It was only the rest of the movie looked fine, but there was one shot where he looked like especially thin, and I was just like, it really fucking bummed me out. I was like, God damn. I mean, again, I think we can't overstate like how fucking sad it is that he passed away. Like, I mean, just such a fucking talent. Like,
yeah, it is an absolute shame.
Yeah.
So then we have one of the first cringy dialogue lines where him and J.K. Simmons are arguing with the FBI over who has jurisdiction, and one of the FBI agents calls Chadwick Boseman a trigger.
Yeah,
because he goes off.
He shoots a lot of people.
Yeah. And to which Chadwick Boseman responds, "You better enunciate properly when you call me a trigger, or else we'll have problems." And just like, ugh.
Yeah, it was.
What a line!
It was not good. And then you look up, the screenwriter was white, so it's like,
not great.
I don't think a black person would write that line. Maybe I'm wrong.
Not.
Probably not.
Yeah. They convinced the feds to give them till the morning, so they locked down the island.
How did they do that?
Bridges.
There it is.
They shut down 21 bridges, and they flood the island with blue. Which, I guess kind of works. Well, not really.
Not really, no.
It still ends up just being a couple of people that find everybody. The bad guys, or the movie bad guys, go to the drug dealer who set them up to steal the coke, and he's just like, they're yelling at him, and they want a reason why everything went down and went wrong, and he's just like fuck you guys, just give me my drugs, here's your money. Sometimes shit happens. And to which point he tries to give them like $100,000 for everything, or some incredibly low price, because he says people in the drug game don't pay attention to details.
Oh, this is another cringy ass line in this movie.
I didn't mind the setup, but Taylor Kitsch's line was terrible.
That's
I
what
I liked the setup. So the Stefan does the math on what because they say we want to get paid. No, we want to get paid what, like $5 million or something like that.
Yeah, they just want a straight million.
Okay, $1 million. And he's like, "There's no way. There's no way I'm giving you $1 million." To which Steven rattles off the exact weight of what they stole times the exact street value times how much they can cut it with to make it even more. To it, then Taylor Kitsch replies, "Yeah, this is one of them detail-oriented motherfuckers that you hate so much."
That's the line. That was like, all right, like
I thought the kid rattling off everything was awesome. I was like, yeah,
that part
drug
was
dealer math.
It was the button to the scene that I didn't need. That's what I was talking about. The Taylor Kitsch going, he's one of those It's like, we know. You didn't have to say it. Like, we got it. We were all here. We all watched the scene.
Actually, I don't know if I minded that. Maybe I'm an idiot. I didn't mind that bad.
I guess it was just Taylor Kitsch's delivery. Probably his accent more than anything. He's one of them detail-oriented motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we cut back to a bar. The third guy that was part of the drug deal, the guy who got Taylor Kitsch the job, is drinking at a bar, and two of the detectives who were buddies with all the cops that were killed just bust in the bar and blow him away, and then plant a gun on him. It's like the Dave Chappelle joke from the old Dave Chappelle stand-up special. Like, everybody that gets shot by the cops always has crack on them because the cops shoot them, they just sprinkle crack all over their bodies.
Yeah,
and it was basically that. They just blew him away and then took a gun and threw it on the floor next to him.
Yeah.
To which Chadwick Boseman calls bullshit. He says, "You're a fat cop with a 38 in your ankle holster, and that's what's sitting on the ground." Because these cops just want the cop killers dead.
Yeah, they don't.
Because they don't want Chadwick Boseman to be able to talk to any of them and find out that they're all corrupt and they're all in on the drug dealing.
Well, you don't know that until later, but yeah.
You don't know that till later,
you suspect it. You know it because when the cops show up uncalled to that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I just assume cops just want to murder people left and right. That's the other problem I have with this movie. I bring a lot of my real life baggage into like the cop scenario. But yeah.
Chadwick Boseman throws a mean right hand in that scene, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yes. To another cop. He's probably going to see Internal Affairs again. The cop killers go to, I can't remember the guy's name. He was in
It's the guy from Deep Space Nine, wasn't he? Like,
yeah, he was in Game of Thrones. He was one of the guys.
Oh yeah, Dorne. He was the guy.
He was the doctor in Deep Space Nine.
They call him like he's like a Sudanese fella or something. I
can't remember what they call him. But he's like the fixer of fixers.
Yeah,
like people just take their money to him. He cleans their money and sends them wherever. So he takes their $1 million, takes $300,000 as a cut, gets them new IDs, passports, cleans all the money onto like Visa gift cards for them so they can have access to all the money. They just got to get out of the city. And once they got out of the city, they get to Miami and then they fly to, I'm assuming, the Cayman Islands. Somewhere with a non-extradition treaty with the U.S. and live the rest of their lives like kings. Except the cops show up right after they show up, and the cops are trying to kick in his door. He gets shot in the eye.
That is brutal.
That shit is pretty cool.
It looks so gross.
Well, it's kind of cool. Like, I will say that I have my problems with this movie, but that sequence is pretty badass because, like, he's this, like, he kind of feels like he's this above the law kind of fixer. Even his little lair has this like double thick steel door that the cops are trying to smash in that they haven't been able to get into. And like he's like, you know, who's your fucking, what's your badge number? Like, what precinct are you in? And as soon as they see him looking through that eye hole, they just shoot him in the fucking eye. It's rad.
Yeah,
right, because I mean, they even say that like he washes the money for the cops. Like he's connected to everybody, so he's got this. Like he's I guess he thought himself untouchable.
Yeah, it's pretty
Well,
rad.
he probably was until their whole kingdom was about to come crashing down.
Yeah, because you find out, like,
but
in this scene that he gives the one guy the flash drives that kind of they incriminate everybody. So the cops, which actually now thinking about it, he should know that he's not untouchable because you know what I mean? He's already been compromised. So it's kind of a dumb scene now that I think about it, because he should be scared of the cops because he's got all their information. So, like, why don't they just waste him? Like,
yeah, but it's
They
like
need him.
symbiotic. Like, they need him too. If they waste him, then how are they going to clean all their money?
Well, they can find another fixer. I guess the thing is, like, with him
not to his level, because you can see his setup is like,
it's
fake, stupid, like, computer tech.
He's
but
balling tremendous.
His setup implies that he can do things that most other people can't. He's like the what is it? The Merovingian in the Matrix?
Yeah, the Merovingian. Can we not bring up the Merovingian, please? Oh God, that fucking movie.
So he gets brained. They grab their money and leave there, and then they're slowly, like, the web is slowly closing in on them. The net is slowly closing in on them. The cops are getting closer and closer each time. We go to a meatpacking plant. There's a shootout in the meatpacking plant. Taylor Kitsch gets got. The other guy has thumb drives that the fixer gave him with all the information on the cops, because he was like, if they're taking me down, I'm taking them down, and then he got taken down, so he's going to take them down. There's a long ass chase scene with this kid just running for his life from the cops. Like, the whole city is coming down on him, and he's just, like, sprinting through the streets, and it's kind of frantic and kind of claustrophobic almost a little bit.
Yeah.
If it was a better movie, like, this would be, like, a really awesome scene, and it was still a cool scene. But he is just, like, running for his life. There's cars driving on sidewalks trying to crush him. Cops in helicopters trying to snipe him.
These cops are the worst. Like, they're like stormtrooper level bad, though. I mean, like, every cop is trying to shoot this guy, and he's just running down the street. Like, it's a little. It suspends disbelief a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, a little. I can see that.
It's a little much. Like, I don't know. It's one thing, like, I mean, whatever. Again, it's a fucking stupid movie, but, like, they're all, like, just full bore trying to kill him, and none of them can do it, and he's just running. Also, Chadwick Boseman, who, you know, nominally is just another black guy running after him. All he does is go, don't shoot, and they don't shoot. Like, I have a hard time believing that he wouldn't have also been blown away by, like, 800 cops. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not, like, in uniform or anything. He's just
he's just running.
He's a detective. He's in his like sport coat.
Yeah.
And then there's a neat, like, standoff on the train where they're getting on and off the train and kind of, like, watching each other playing not a game of chicken, but a game of kind of chicken.
Yeah, I like that scene. It was
like
cool.
Watching each other to make sure that they're both on the train. And then as a million cops come rushing down the subway stairs, they both get on. Chadwick Boseman talks him down. He's going to bring him in alive.
You all right?
Yeah, just basketball. He's going to bring him in alive. It's promises he's gonna take care of him and make sure he's okay. And then Sienna Miller blows him away from, like, another train car. She just shoots him right in the gut and says, "Oh, I thought he had a gun on you."
Yeah.
To which point we immediately know that Sienna Miller is also corrupt.
Right.
As he's dying, he gives Chadwick Boseman the thumb drives with all the information on the thumb drives and the password for them. And then, like, the rest of the movie was unnecessary. I feel like it should have just been like a montage of the cops getting arrested. Like, I felt like the scene with him talking to J.K. Simmons was very unnecessary and didn't add anything.
That didn't have to happen.
I think the movie would have been better if he knew all those cops were dirty but couldn't prove it. And just, like, that's how it ends. Like, it's a much more dour, like, you can't fight City Hall kind of ending, you know? Instead, you have this weird showdown where he kills, like
it's a showdown. Like, how are you going to explain your way out of it? Like,
now Chadwick Boseman's a cop killer himself.
Well, he's got Sienna Miller there.
1, 2, 3, 4. He kills like five
cops. Yeah, he kills like 5 cops, but he leaves Sienna Miller alive, so I guess she can. And he's still got the thumb drive, so he can still. I guess that's his cover to the whole thing.
But I mean,
also, like, on the side of the corrupt cops. So he goes to Just Kidding Simmons' house, and he has a tete-a-tete or whatever. But Just Kidding Simmons has, like, 5 cops ready to kill Chadwick Boseman. How are they going to cover for that murder if they kill him? Like, they'll
say that they didn't realize he was going to be in the house and they thought he was an intruder.
But, like, why would he do? Like, I don't. The whole thing.
Why would he be in the house to begin with?
Yeah,
J.K. Simmons' motivations were weird. Like, the whole, like I was telling you, TJ, we were hanging out on Friday after I watched it. I was like, I felt like the ending, like, I liked most of this movie, but I felt like the ending just kind of, like, fizzled. Like, it buttoned things up too clean, and it did it too rapidly without, it's
dumb. It's just, like, I don't know. Like, the whole thing, like, I don't know. It felt like they finished the movie and then were like, well, shit, we gotta pad some time. Like, it felt very forced. Like, I don't.
And they might have, because the movie's not that long. It's only like an hour and 39 minutes, which is short for like a movie like this.
Yeah.
Like, this type of movie is usually like 2 hours at least.
I just felt like the ending came out of nowhere, and it's like really silly. Like, him having like a John Wick showdown at the end is like kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's the movie.
That's it.
That is the movie. Chadwick Boseman's really good in it.
Chadwick Boseman is great. The guy that's not Taylor Kitsch is really good in it, I thought. I feel like his character needed some more, like, seasoning. There's something missing in this movie. As I was watching it, like, I like the guy that's, like, kind of in over his head, and he's not really a bad guy. He's just like a kind of like a victim of circumstance, but, like, it's not like fleshed out right. I don't know how to put it. Like, it's very odd.
Would it have been better if the guy who was in over his head was like Chadwick Boseman's like buddy, and Chadwick Boseman felt like childhood or something, and felt the need to like bring him in alive or protect him to hear his side of the story? Like, does that relationship need to be fleshed out more? Does that,
maybe, I don't know. Because that would explain. That would actually and that would help a little bit. But
because if he's so trigger happy, like, why would he not? Like,
there's just also more to that character where it's like, well, he's not a bad guy. He's just like running drugs because like he's got a shitty situation. It's like I don't like, the whole thing is just, I don't know. Like I said, there's like a chunk of this movie that's missing. I don't know what it is exactly, but like it needed something. And like, it's got a strong performance by Chadwick Boseman, but like, he's the only one doing any heavy lifting. Everybody else is kind of doing like a caricature of like, I'm walking here, New York cop, hey. And then like, I don't really know what this fucking movie is. Like, I don't know what the point of this movie is, because it keeps talking about like, I think the movie is trying to talk about like life is hard and people have to adjust, because like the cops, that's what they're doing, right? Like, it's tough being a cop, so they got to sell drugs because they got to maintain a nest egg or whatever. And then the criminals have to do what they got to do because their situation is shitty. And it's like, but like at the end of it, like, what does any of that mean? Like, it's not cohesive.
Well, then like Chadwick Boseman has that scene with J.K. Simmons where he's talking about how the guys who beat his dad to death were all hopped up on coke, so that's why coke is not the victimless crime.
But like, that's even like forced, because it's like, What is that? Like, so what
are we rallying against here? Are we against cops? Are we against drugs? Are we against the inequalities of life?
I don't think this movie.
All of it.
I don't think this movie knows what it's trying to be about. Like, I feel like it's very, like, they put in elements of, like, not that every movie has to have, like, a deep philosophical meaning or message, but, like, it feels like it wants to have one, but it can't figure out what it is before the movie's over.
Like, Chadwick Boseman doesn't really have, like, it sets it up like they want him to sort of have a redemption arc or something, but redemption from what? Because he's been doing he's doing what he's had to do, and he doesn't, I guess the fact that he doesn't kill Stephen James or whatever is, like, his sort of, like, his growth in this movie.
His character would work better if they went into his past and, like, maybe some of those kills were questionable. Like, you never get any, like, real perspective on, like, what he did before this movie, other than his point of view. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he was kind of, like, maybe he did kill somebody that didn't deserve it. I mean, that's a weird way to phrase it, but, like, in the context of a film, like, I don't know, there's, you know what I mean? Like, there's something, there's more than a little something missing from this movie. There's a lot missing from this movie. But.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I thought...
Fix this movie.
Man, like, what you probably need in this movie is... you need to start out... and I don't think Chadwick Boseman and Stephen James necessarily need to be, like, friends, but you need to start, like... with both of them young and show, like, parallel stories. Like, Chadwick Boseman, his dad dies, you start at the funeral.
So it's like, so it becomes
something with Stephen James at that point in his life.
So it's like The Departed.
I guess, kind of. But you show Chadwick Boseman, like, as a rookie getting his first kill or whatever, like, where he has to go to IA, and then you cut with the kid and his brother getting blown away and him having to deal with that and assaulting his drill sergeant, and show that, like, it doesn't take much to be that far away from the other side.
I like that.
But it needed something like that. Like, there was definitely time where they could have made this movie a little longer and done some more fleshing out of the two leads, and it would have given us probably a better movie, and you would have cared. Like, Chadwick Boseman's good, but I don't necessarily care about him in this movie. Like, his character. I don't really care about any of them except for Stephen James, and even then, it's just almost like perfunctory. Just because he's a sympathetic character who he did some bad stuff, but not really bad stuff, but now he's stuck. Like, they force you to feel bad for him almost. You don't feel bad because they actually showed you definitive reasons why, if that makes sense.
No, I agree with that.
I mean, would it be better if Stephen James's character was more, like, set up and less, like... Because I know the cops he kills in the beginning... I don't know how many he actually gets versus Taylor Kitsch.
They say he gets none. Taylor Kitsch says that he kills... Taylor Kitsch killed all of them.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
But they say a few times it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they even say that
they're going to split it between us. Like, it does, like, Taylor Kitsch even says, like, I'll take the rap, and Stephen James, like, it doesn't matter. Like, we did it together. Whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that one scene where he gets in that car and that one cop is like, she's on her last breath. That was a tough scene. That was pretty good. The stuff with Stephen James was good. If you did more, does it want to be more like The Fugitive between, like, Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford? I mean, but that's like Harrison Ford's setup, right? He's not guilty of he actually didn't actually do what he's being hunted down for.
Well, if that's the case, then you got to shift the whole dynamic of the movie, because then the Stephen James character is the main character and not.
But right, but I mean, like, I think he kind of was the main character. I mean, he should have been, maybe. And the scene in, like, the meatpacking place where he's got Sienna Miller, and he's got the gun to her head, and then Chadwick Boseman have that. I thought that was a good scene, like their conversation scene.
She is just begging Chadwick Boseman to kill him, just so he will be done and gone.
Yep.
she's just screaming over and over, take the shot, because she wants Stephen James dead.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's
like,
yeah.
This movie is pretty good. It's not great.
It's frustrating because it could be better.
There's potential for this to be like an outstanding movie.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Without like a real ton of like changes. Like the things we just talked about really wouldn't take that much more effort to make those changes. They're like simple changes to make, I feel like.
I'm saying, when the movie opened, I was all in. Like the robbery scene, I was fucking in. I was like, this keeps up.
That robbery scene was awesome.
I was like, this is like fucking Heat, and I love Heat. I'm like, let's go. And like even the conversations between Stephen James and Taylor Kitsch, like Stephen James, like, we need to get the fuck out of here. This is fucked up. And the other guy is like, he's like, what's his name in he's like fucking Punisher. Oh, we lost out. He's like Punisher in why can't I never think of that guy's name in Boogie Nights, when they realized that they shouldn't.
Thomas Jane.
Remember seeing where they're robbing Doc Ock and they're like, and he's gone off the rails. He's like,
we don't want the fucking briefcase. We want we want the safe underneath the fucking bedroom and the fucking dude and
like that scene is what they were trying to go for, and that's a great scene. That scene is so tense.
Yeah, I agree.
But they had something. They had the potential, and they just didn't deliver.
It's a botch job. We're gonna wait for Alec to get back.
Yeah, let's see if he can regain.
Before we get into Five Knuckle Shuffles.
Yes. What's our next month?
I don't know.
Fuck.
WW Easter, isn't it?
Oh, it would be WW Easter. That's right. I gotta come up with a WWE movie. They're still making movies, right?
Alec got one. I think. There he is. He's back.
Hey-o.
Hey, Alec, next month is WW Easter, right? Oh, can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Everything, my tablet just like froze up.
Is WW Easter's next month, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, let's get into Five Knuckle Shuffles real quick. Gogs.
I'm going. This is tough. It's 6-7 territory for me. I'm gonna go 7, just because I thought Chadwick Boseman was good in it. I thought Stephen James was good in it. I really liked the opening, but the ending needed work, and all the stuff we just talked about. Like, it's not it's not terrible, and people will probably really like this movie. It's just, like we said, you can see what this movie could have been. And it could have been a 9 or a 10. It could have been great. And it started strong, and then it kind of lost its momentum, especially like when we were talking before, TJ, it's like, it doesn't have a soggy middle. It's got a soggy end. And that's worse.
Yeah. Soggy end is almost worse than a soggy middle.
So, I mean, if it had kept up its pace, if it delivered on the promises of the opening 20 minutes, it would have been a 9 probably, but it fell into 7, bordering 6 territory for me, for all the stuff we've talked about. Like, no, Chadwick Boseman's good in it. He's very good in it. I didn't think Taylor Kitsch was bad, and I know you guys didn't like him. Stephen James was great in it. Keith David's in it and wasted because they don't use him at all.
Oh yeah, Keith David's in it too for like a few seconds,
5 minutes. Yeah.
But yeah, the parts that are tense and good are great, and just the rest of it's the ending just really fucking falls off a cliff. So, Alec.
I'm going to give it a 7. I can't, in good conscience, give like this was like on the line. This was a borderline like 6-7, but Chadwick Boseman gets the benefit of the doubt. He gets the slight bump. I'm sure it means a lot to him wherever he is now. But this,
ironically, podcast is the only podcast you can get in heaven.
Shit.
Our heavenly listeners are through the roof.
Oh, Tony Scott doesn't listen. Oh, he committed suicide. He's in hell.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Take that.
Not like the movie is perfectly fine. It's like we all said like 5 times already. It's just missing something. It needed something else just to like pull it together. I was just looking at the IMDb for it, and it's this guy's. It wasn't directed by the Russos like I thought it was.
No,
the guy who directed it. The guy who directed it. It was his. It looks like his first movie that he directed. He directed a bunch of episodes of TV shows.
I think it's his second one.
Second maybe. Okay.
Go deep into his resume to find the other one. And it's like something small.
Stephen James is really good. Stefan James. I probably should have learned how to say his name instead of
guessing,
butchering it over and over. But he's outstanding in it. Chadwick Boseman's outstanding. I want to see Stefan James in more stuff. I recognize him from a few things. He was in he played Jesse Owens in Race, and I saw that a few years ago. And I don't remember him, but he was in Selma. He played John Lewis in Selma, but I don't remember him in that.
Yeah, I don't either. I saw that movie.
Yeah, I like that movie. That movie's good. But yeah, it's just like it's not what it could have been. It could have been something special. But I guess it would have been something special. We all probably would have seen it earlier because word of mouth would have been great about it. And like for all the trailers I saw for this, I didn't hear a thing about it when it actually came out.
Yeah, this came in.
I saw trailers for this for like a year, literally like a year in the theaters. I think this and not the Hobbs and Shaw movie, but the Fast and the Furious movie before that. Both of those, I saw trailers for almost a year in theaters for both of them. 7. TJ.
This is a 5 for me, dog.
Man.
I didn't care for it, and I don't think it's bad, but it's just a movie I'll never think about again. Like, for me, it's like perfect 5 territory, because, like, while I had problems with the dialogue and, like, some of the plot contrivances, like, it's just vapor. I'm never going to think about this movie ever again. Like, it's very forgettable. Once it's over, it's just, like, done. I don't think it's awful. I think there's good things about it, but there's just nothing really memorable about it. Nothing that stands out, and good or bad. Like nothing that's gonna really like stick out and be like, Jesus, that was a fucking disaster. Like it's just like it's like a TV movie. This is like a TBS like afternoon at the movies movie. I feel like this will be on cable for a long time to come.
This will probably be on HBO forever.
This is a very like TV ready movie, because it's very like I don't know, it's kind of formulaic and kind of bland. It didn't do anything for me. I was hoping to hate it more, so I'd have more of a visceral reaction to it. But no, I didn't care for it, so it's a 5 for me.
Overall, a good month. I think TJ's score for this movie is the lowest score of the whole month.
Yeah. Overall, pretty good month. And again, this wasn't like a 2. I mean, it could have been worse. Alec, I think you're the only one that has a movie ready for WW Easter, so I think you get snaked around this time. See, what's the name of your movie?
I think it's called Cosmic Sin. Let me look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Is it a WWE movie or does it just have Lana in it?
Has Lana in it. That's all that matters.
Counts. Yeah.
Okay.
That counts.
So wait, it doesn't have to be a WWE production. It's got to have a wrestler.
No, we've done that. We did fucking No Holds Barred. That wasn't a WWE production.
Good point. All right, cool.
And we did. We've done other. It just has to have a wrestler in it, really.
Oh, it is.
Yep. Cosmic Sin, 2.5 stars on IMDb.
It is
4,000 reviews.
Poorly reviewed.
I will put it on. I'll put it on the Plex so you can watch it. All right. Well, that's the show.
Only an hour and 28 minutes. So
perfect.
Fuck yeah.
It's got Frank Grillo and Lana and Bruce Willis.
Is it R-rated?
In the year 2524, 4 centuries after humans started colonizing the outer planets, retired General James Ford gets called back into service after a hostile alien fleet attacks soldiers on a remote planet. The threat against mankind soon escalates into an interstellar war as Ford and a team of elite soldiers try to stop the imminent attack before it's too late. And his elite soldiers are Frank Grillo and Lana.
Lana's name is Sol Cantos.
Soul like
Soul.
sun. Soul.
Yeah.
Soul.
I wonder how many scenes Bruce Willis is in. Probably like 3.
That'd be great if he just died like right off the bat.
I mean, that's like he's probably, you know how he shoots movies now. He'll probably be in it for 5 minutes. All right, everybody, that's the show. So we'll see you next week. Like and subscribe us on YouTube, please, because we still are without a website. Yeah.
Maybe I'll just learn whatever
Learn the code.
Yeah, learn how to.
What is it? Paper shop?
WordPress.
WordPress.
Paper shop.
I'll learn WordPress by next week and I'll fix it myself.
Well, you got to get all the archives from Vinny. That's the problem. He's got all the archives backed up. So
I'll just get them off the website.
Well, you can't. It doesn't exist. All right, everybody.
It was around.
Yeah.
See you later.